Yeah, you guys know this scene. This is from the iconic movie The Matrix Reloaded. Uh, Probably one of the best car chase scenes in cinema, period. So today I did something a little bit different. I took a scene from The Matrix Reloaded, arguably one of my favorite car chase scenes, and like I said earlier, probably the best car chase scene in cinema. And I rescored it from scratch. So yeah, that is something a little bit out of my comfort zone. Well, shit, a lot of bit out of my comfort zone. Never done that before. You know, I make beats for the most part, so this was kind of way out of left field. But I had a good time doing it. I learned a lot, and I just wanted to detail really what I did to make it. The first thing I want to do, without further ado, is to play my rendition of this scene, and after that, we'll go through the instruments, and I'll let you guys know what I did, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so that's it, and that little composition there is only maybe a minute and 5 seconds long, but making that took forever. And by forever, I'm talking maybe a week off and on of just coming back to it, adding something new, getting stuck, turning it off, and coming back to it, and repeating the process. So that being said, let's get into the first thing here. Oh man, I don't even know where to start on this. I guess from the beginning. So the very first thing I did, let me solo this guy, mute the other ones, is added the kick. So if you remember the original scene, it's pretty techno heavy bass pumping, and it's a basically I wanted to keep that same kind of feel, that same vibe. So I have a four to the floor kick pattern here with some I don't want to call these ghost notes. I don't know, some filler notes in here to just kind of add a little bit of rhythm to it, and that sounds like this altogether. And that just plays out through the entire composition here, just to, like I said, keep the beat, keep the rhythm flowing. Okay, so that is the kick. So going on to the next instrument here, I added more drums just to further add to the rhythm, just to, well, really to create the rhythm. In this particular instrument, let me show the instrument because I know people want to see, is the Cuba Cajun Ensemble. I'm trying to find the actual, there it is. So this little library here is the Cajun Ensemble. And just, side note, I never really liked using native instrument stuff for just making beats because I couldn't really find a lot of sounds I liked. But that's probably because, like, doing this, I see everything in Contact, and most of what native instruments makes is for, like, full cinematic production. It's for movie scoring, it's for TV scoring, it's for video games. It's not really made for just making beats. So that being said, this is the library I use. It's a lot of cool little percussion sounds. Let me unmute this guy and arm the track. So yeah, lots of cool little sounds here. And what I did was I just added a few notes here to keep the rhythm going, or really to make the rhythm. So this is more of a hi-hat pattern here, and we have some drum hits that come in throughout just to add emphasis to certain places. So let me play that real quick and show you what it sounds like. Yeah, see, them little drum hits here really add a little bit of emphasis to the pattern. Alright, so the next thing we got here, we will come down to this guy first. This is another percussion library here from Contact. This one is, let me see, it's unmuted. Yep. So this one is called Drum Lab. This is another stock Contact library. So basically just a drum set. And you can do all kinds of crazy stuff down here, add little effects that you want, and just kind of alter the sound, make it your own. But how I use this is to add another hi-hat pattern. And this one kind of layered with this guy. It just kind of, it makes it sound fuller, makes it sound bigger. It didn't sound big enough before, so you kind of layer it here to just kind of add more rhythm. You kind of feel it more than you hear it. And then I have the pattern kind of switch up once the action picks up on screen. I'll go into that more in detail a little bit later on. But we kind of pick up the intensity here with these 16 30-second notes here, and just kind of let that go. And let me play it real quick so you can hear it. And the reason why we switch it up here, well, let me shut up, let you hear it first. Okay, so I wanted to point out, so the reason why we switch it up right here, because if we look at the video itself, you know, when it first started, it's action, you know, the guy's shooting, but then, you know, our heroes, Morpheus, Trinity, and all them, they get away from him, but he comes around the truck, and, you know, the action kind of picks up here. He's trying to get around traffic in the shoulder lane here to get to them, so we want to kind of emphasize the dire situation that our heroes are in right now by picking up the intensity with the drums. So all right, that being said, let's go to the next instrument, which is more drums. Surprise, surprise. And I think I want to start with this one. Yeah, so this is an audio file. It did come from Contact. I don't remember which library to be specific, but you know, Contact kills your memory, so I ended up having to bounce this guy out into an audio file and just kind of place it where I wanted it to be. But the main point of this sound is a bass drum, and the bass drum hits, if you look at where it's hitting, I use the bass drum to kind of emphasize something happening on screen. So like this first hit here is when we first where the bad guy, the main bad guy in this little scene here, he's first introduced to us, the viewer, and I wanted to emphasize his intro with a hit here. So I'll show that. All right, so, and you'll notice kind of I do that a lot. So when stuff happens in the video, I add little layers, little elements of a percussion or of, you know, an instrument. We'll get to the instruments later on, just to kind of emphasize that something cool or something, you know, out of the ordinary is happening on screen. So again, more bass drums here, just to emphasize something cool is happening. Oh, and another thing too, so you notice how the drums kind of go out right here once it goes in the slow-mo scene. So the action kind of, it's still action packed. There's a car flipping on the highway, but the fact that it slowed it down, you know, clearly they wanted to draw emphasis to this car flipping. So I kind of had the drums come out a little bit just to let the viewers kind of take it all in. And then once it speeds back up to the regular timing of the video, I have the drums come back in. All right, so that's that one, and then the final percussion sound that I added is from Contact. And you know, again, like Contact is really killing the cinematic game. Like, you know, I would have never used action strikes prior to making this video, or to really making this song, excuse me. Like, so again, action strikes, this is the sound. It goes to a lot of just bass drum hits. And the way I use it, so again, going back to if we're trying to time map what's happening on screen to what the sound is, I wanted to pick up the intensity right when this guy is going into the shoulder lane, passing traffic, to come back and start shooting at our heroes. And you'll notice they come in right when the action, where I think the action comes in and picks up. Alright, and so again, if you notice, like right here, I cut those drums out too, just to again emphasize like the truck, the SUV is flipping. The directors wanted you to take note of that, so I have everything come out right there. The Wachowski bros. So alright, and that's the percussion. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instruments, and you know, those took forever to do, just to get everything right, everything timed right. That was about maybe 2 days off and on of just, you know, stopping and going, coming back to it, doing something else, leaving it, coming back to it. So that's our percussion. We're going to go to the instruments now, and let's start with the strings, which is the main melody for this particular piece here. And again, I'm gonna show the sound I use. What is he using? So I got two sounds here. Both of these are Contact stock libraries. This one is from the Action Strings. I think it's Action Strings, Session Strings, Session Strings Pro. I think I just got the violin traditional. And then I took that and layered it with this Evolve, where is it at? This guy here, you know, do the math, guitar beats. So, and again, like I never would have used these otherwise. So what they sound like, let me mute Evolve and just play the violins. And it goes like this. So real simple, violin. Y'all know how that sounds. But then I added this guitar beats because it gave it like a Middle Eastern flair. Just kind of added some variety, a little bit of spice to the way it sounded. And that sounds like this. So the two of those together sound pretty cool. Let me start from the beginning. So this is what all of that sounds like together. Now, if you look at the MIDI notes I played, right now it's just one octave, but then as the action picks up, I double it up. Now it's 2 octaves in this next set here. back here. To further emphasize the this guy flipping, this SUV flipping, I kind of added the little stinger here. That dun, 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 just to kind of emphasize this guy flipping, and then it comes back to the regular rhythm once it picks back up. And then on this third set here, I tripled the octave. I tripled it just to add more intensity, you know, get the heart pumping a little bit more. And then again, just to emphasize the car flipping, you know, another slow-mo scene there, so that's why the drums kind of went back out again. And the director clearly wanted you to see this car flipping, so let's add some emphasis to it real quick with these violins. Alright, so in the next instrument here is more violins, and so this is an audio file again. It did come from Contact, but you can only have but so many contacts in your session before it just dies. So I had to bounce it out. And what this particular string stinger track here is for is to add more emphasis to when something cool is happening on screen. So the first one I did was when the bad guy, Buddy with the dreads, when he first when he starts shooting at the car again once he passes the truck, you'll see in a second. And then I have another one when the SUV flips over after he shoots the SUV. We'll skip to it. And then this is actually a brass sound. That's the low end here. Let me solo that real quick. Oh wait, hold up. Let me solo that again real quick. And again, that came from Contact. I think it's the session horns library in Contact. Another stock sound, but you know, same old. Contact kills your memory. You know how it goes. So let me re-solo everything. So that's our strings and that's our percussion. So the next instrument we have is the choir sound, and this one is not Contact. It is Electra X. I don't think this is a stock. Nah, this is the Molly Water preset bank, and the sound is choir. Lost Boys, and it is exactly what it sounds like, the choir. Well, they spelt it wrong, Chior, but it's the choir, and it just kind of has a steady pattern in the background to just, you know, fill up the space when the violins aren't playing, just to keep the rhythm going. So I'll let you guys hear that. Let's let it play. Add minor variation throughout just to keep it fresh to the listener's ears. Again, you probably won't consciously realize this, but you feel it more than you hear it. Alright, so that is that. Now on to our next instrument. So this is a synth sound. This is Omnisphere this time, and I think this is a stock sound here. Yeah, it's called Pop Rocks in Space, and it sounds like this. So it's a real synthy, techno kind of sound. You know, I gotta keep it in that same kind of vibe because we are, after all, in the Matrix, so you know it's got to be something techno-y in here. So to solo that, There we go. And it's just a C note over and over again. Take note of the octave when it first starts, when it's like low intensity, low action. It's in a lower octave, but then once the action picks up, you'll see I raise it up an octave just to increase the stakes, raise the stakes, increase the intensity. So let's play that real quick and see how it sounds. And then once the action dies down again, we bring it back down an octave. So, and I just want to note too, if you notice, I keep all of my my MIDI patterns pretty small, and that's just so I could reuse it. You keep it maybe 2 bars, 4 bars, and that way, if the scene changes and you have to switch up the way the composition is going, the way the music is going to sound, kind of suddenly, you don't have to really think about it as much because you have short MIDI patterns to work with. So it's an easy transition from one particular high intensity part to another low intensity part. And that, for the most part, is the instrument. So I have this other track here, which is more brass. And again, same thing. This guy came from Contact, but Contact kills things. So I had to bounce it out. And this one is similar to the violin stings that I had, that just kind of emphasize when something cool is happening on screen, or when you want to introduce something on screen and put emphasis behind it. So the first time you hear this guy is when the main bad guy, when he first is introduced to the audience, we have the brass kind of undertone that. So let's play that real quick. And then the second time is when he starts shooting at the car again right now. And then notice the difference in intensity, right? So, pretty tame stuff right here. And then once we get here, the stakes are raised a bit, so let's raise the intensity. And that's all we use that for. So that is the instruments for this guy. So now let's go to the bass. And the bass is a Electra X sound. I think this one is actually a stock sound. It's actually a lead, not a bass. I just use really low notes to make it sound like a bass. This is the lead sound. Okay, so, and it's pretty simple. All I'm actually playing is just a C note, because I think this piece is in the key of C, so we keep it all kosher like that. So if I were to play it, it's just a C note. Again, we just are doing this, and I'm holding it down, but I put, just to make it sound kind of techno-y, electronic, I added an instance of growth speed to it. We put a 2-beat gate to it, and I have to actually play the instrument to kind of show you what it sounds like, or press play period to show you what it sounds like. So if I hold it down, it just pulses, right? I like that. Nice and simple. So the reason why it's 2 tracks here is because I had to basically bounce this guy out, because I wanted to add a guitar rig effect to it. But if you listen to this sound, you hear that in the beginning. I don't like the way that sounds. I I just want that sound. So I had to basically just bounce it out and take the pieces that I want, and be down with the rest and get rid of those to make it sound the way I want it to sound. So this is what the bass sounds like with my guitar rig effect on it and a few little processing effects. Right, real simple, but I like it and it works. So all together with everything, I'll come back to this effects here, but with everything else, it sounds like this. All right, so the last thing I did was I added an effect. So all this is, again, it's another contact instrument. This one, it's actually pretty cool. I'll show you guys what it is real quick. So contact, and this one comes from the Rise and Hit library, and I'm pretty sure I use this guy here, but this is a pretty cool little library if you guys want to check this out. It's good for all kinds of production. I use this in beats all the time. But it's a good transition, right? So I hold down the C key, boom, it's a riser. So the only reason that I put this here is because I wanted to, there's a part in the scene where Buddy with the dreads, let me stop saying dreads, we woke over here. Dude with the locks, he goes behind a truck, and then Morpheus is looking like, oh, where did he go? Where is it at? Right here. And then he just kind of comes out right here. So I have this guy here to just kind of emphasize that. You barely even hear it with all the other stuff that's playing, but like I said, it's one of them things you probably feel more than you hear. But that is everything. That is the entire piece. Let me actually play it one more time just for good measure, for the people that just got here late. I'm going to end it there. Like I said, this is a first for me. Really taking a step into left field and trying something different, expanding my horizons, just kind of expanding my creativity. I had a really good time making this. I plan to make a lot more rescoring videos here in the future. I hope to actually, score new movies and get work in this field, because it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. In addition to making beats and stuff like that, this is a cool little thing to do as well. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, subscribe, post a comment below, and with the comment thing, if you actually do this for a living, or if you have some tips and pointers that I can use to make my future film scores better, leave a comment, man. I would love to to check it out and kind of learn. This is a learning environment, so we all are here to learn and get better together. So share the knowledge as well. And that's it, y'all. Until next time.